History is full of captivating stories, but some chapters remain frustratingly blank. Whether it's Amelia Earhart's ultimate resting place or the identity of Jack the Ripper, some unsolved mysteries have baffled experts for centuries. But hold it right there. If you're expecting another rehash of the usual suspects, I've got a surprise for you. Because today's list is all about the unsolved mysteries people rarely talk about. I'm Mike with List 25, and here are the 25 greatest unsolved mysteries that still puzzle experts. 25. Twin language. How much do you know about cryptophagia? I know, crypto what now, right? Cryptophagia, also known as twin talk, is a fascinating phenomenon where twins develop their own unique language, complete with their own words and sounds, understood only by the two of them. While once thought rare, studies suggest it might occur in up to 40% of twins. The unique language usually fades away as the twins get older, and scientists have no idea why it develops in the first place. Some believe it can be due to limited exposure to adult language, while others think it simply is a way to solidify their special bond. Whatever the reason, cryptophagia is just one part of the incredible connection twins know and share. 24. Did the Romans discover Brazil? In 1982, an article in the New York Times confirmed that divers near Rio de Janeiro discovered a huge collection of amphoras, those tall jars used by Roman ships in the 2nd century BCE in Guanabara Bay. The archaeological world went nuts. If this was a reliable find, the Portuguese were not the first Europeans in Brazil. Some, like the treasure hunter and archaeologist Robert Marks, were convinced that the Romans reached Brazil 17 centuries before the Portuguese. Others believe the jars to be fake or a clever hoax, but the jars were overgrown with barnacles. In fact, some had even become encased in coral. And then, the plot thickened. Brazil placed a blanket ban on underwater exploration in the area. Did they fear what might be found, or was it simply a bureaucratic roadblock? The truth, much like the amphoras themselves, remains buried beneath the waves of Guanabara Bay. 23. Where did William Kidd bury his treasure? Captain Kidd, a Scottish privateer, captured his fair share of ships during his time at sea, but the moment he plundered the Quetta Merchant, a vessel carrying goods for an Indian nobleman, he became a wanted man. Kidd traveled to New York to insist that he only targeted approved ships. He even offered to give up the location of his $20 million treasure in exchange for a pardon, but the offer was rejected and Kidd was hanged in 1701. To this day, nobody knows where Kidd buried his loot. The wreck of the Quetta Merchant was located in 2007, sans Kidd's treasure. Treasure hunters have been looking for that treasure for centuries, but haven't had any luck finding it. So, who knows? Maybe it's time to leave the rat race and set sail for some pirate gold. 22. The Watseka Wonder. In 1877, when Laurency Venom was around 13, her life took a strange turn. Seizures left her unconscious for days, and she would wake up claiming that she had visited the spirit world. Her condition worsened, and strange abilities started emerging during her trances. She even claimed to be different people, including an old German woman. And then, things got weird. Laurency claimed to be possessed by Mary Roth's spirit, a young girl who died 12 years earlier, and insisted on staying with the girl's family. For months, she lived as Mary, even forgetting parts of her own life. Finally, Laurency announced Mary's spirit would leave on a specific date, which miraculously happened. Whether it was a psychological condition or something supernatural, Laurency Venom's possession continues to baffle believers and skeptics alike to this day. 21. The Patomskiy Crater. In 1949, a Russian geologist stumbled upon a colossal jagged scar on the Earth's surface unlike anything he had ever seen. The geological oddity, known as the Patomskiy Crater, is a massive mound of shattered limestone that's 520 feet or 158.5 meters at its base and over 40 feet or 12 meters high. It's so massive that its estimated interior volume exceeds 8 million cubic feet, or 226,534 cubic meters, and its weight is a staggering 1 million tons. Its insides are just as strange, with the central cone reaching nearly the same height as the outer walls. Scientists are baffled by its origins. Meteorite? Volcano? The leading theory connects it to the nearby Tunguska event. However, the estimated age of Patomskiy Crater, from a few hundred to a few thousand years old, makes it hundreds of years older. 20. Where is Alexander the Great buried? By the age of 32, Alexander the Great ruled over a vast empire stretching from the Balkans to Pakistan. A sudden illness brought an end to his reign in 323 BCE. Historical documents tell us that his body was brought back to Egypt 2 years later, and that it was held in the city of Memphis while his tomb was being prepared in Alexandria. That tomb has never been found. The consensus is that it has to be underwater, as the palace's district where it was built is now submerged. But even if it is found, identification might be difficult. If it has indeed spent years underwater, natural forces might have removed the inscriptions, and researchers will rely on an intact inscription to confirm that it is in fact Alexander's final resting place. 19. Where is Cleopatra's tomb? Sticking with ancient Egypt, let's explore the mystery of Cleopatra's tomb. Legend has it that after her death in 30 BCE, she was buried alongside her lover, Mark Antony, not the singer. Ancient writer Plutarch described their tomb as a, quote, lofty and beautiful monument near the Temple of Isis, writing that it was filled with treasures. In 2010, a famous Egyptian archaeologist, Zahi Hawass, led excavations near Alexandria, at a site called Taposiris Magna, known for tombs from Cleopatra's era. And while they found interesting artifacts, Cleopatra's tomb wasn't there. Many believe that it might be submerged within Alexandria. The search continues. 18. The Max Headroom broadcast signal. On the night of November 22, 1987, during the 9 p.m. newscast on WGN-TV, a person wearing a Max Headroom mask and a loud buzzing sound hijacked the broadcast signal for about 17 seconds. WGN engineers quickly regained control and returned the broadcast to the newscast. 2 hours later, another hijacking occurred. This time, it targeted the PBS affiliate WTTW during their broadcast of Doctor Who. PBS wasn't as fortunate as WGN, and the nonsensical transmission, complete with a woman's hand and fly swatter, lasted over 90 seconds before the hijackers disappeared. The FCC investigated the incident, but the motive and the people behind the Max Headroom signal hijacking remain a mystery to this day. 17. Who is Jetpack Man? The skies around Los Angeles International Airport have been abuzz with the mystery of Jetpack Man since 2020. First spotted by pilots, the unidentified figure has been seen soaring through the air on multiple occasions, with one report placing him a mere 300 feet or 91 meters from a commercial airplane wing. No one has ever stepped forward to claim responsibility for these flights, and sightings continue to occur, with the most recent being in 2022 when Jetpack Man was spotted at an altitude of 4,500 feet, or 1,371 meters. In the most recent case, the LAPD released images showing an inflatable balloon resembling Jack Skellington, which might be a possible explanation for the Jetpack Man sighting, but the theory has yet to be proven. 16. Who killed JFK? It's been more than 60 years since President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas on November 22, 1963. Although Lee Harvey Oswald was apprehended for the crime, questions remain as to whether he acted alone, and we may never find out because he was shot and killed by Jack Ruby before the trial could begin. While the Warren Commission concluded that Oswald acted as a lone gunman and Ruby's motive was personal, many, including professional historians, remain unconvinced. JFK's death remains the subject of a lot of conspiracy theories, and since some of the official documents remain sealed, and there's little chance that new evidence will be discovered, we'll probably never have a universally accepted answer. 15. Greenland's lost colony. Established around the 10th century, the Norse settlement thrived for about 500 years or so. Then, by the late 1400s, everything changed. The colony vanished. Homes stood empty, supplies untouched, as if the inhabitants simply ceased to exist. Over 500 years later, the reasons behind this disappearance remain a mystery, but it's been theorized that they might have left since the land was too inhospitable, or that they might have been kidnapped or murdered by local Inuit populations. However, none of the theories answer why all of their belongings and supplies remained. Everything appears orderly, and there are no signs of being raided or planned departure. There's also no evidence of violence nor looting, and starvation seems unlikely. It's like they were there one day and just gone the next. 14. Was Caesarion Caesar's son? Egypt's last pharaoh, Caesarion, was shrouded in controversy from his very first breath. Born in 47 BCE, he was the love child of Cleopatra VII and Julius Caesar. Cleopatra boldly claimed him as Caesar's heir, solidifying this position by making him her co-ruler in 44 BCE. However, doubt swirled around Caesarion's true parentage, and despite Cleopatra's pronouncements, Caesar never publicly acknowledged the child as his own. In fact, one of Caesar's close friends categorically denied the claim, pamphlets being the preferred method of public pronouncements back then. The lack of surviving remains from either Julius Caesar or Caesarion makes a definitive answer through DNA testing impossible. So, whether Egypt's last pharaoh truly bridged the gap between Rome and Egypt, or if he was simply a pawn in Cleopatra's political maneuvers, will forever remain a mystery. 13. Acquired Savant Syndrome. Have you ever heard of someone suffering a brain injury or illness who woke up with the ability to speak a new language or solve complex math problems? Well, that's the incredible world of acquired Savant Syndrome. The biggest mystery with this condition is obviously the sudden appearance of skills the person never had before. I mean, can you imagine just coming out of a coma and flawlessly playing the piano? Scientists believe these incredible talents might be the result of the brain rewiring itself after injury, in the process unlocking abilities that were lying dormant. However, the exact workings and mechanisms behind the remarkable transformations are a complete mystery. But you know what else is a big mystery? The fact that you haven't liked, shared, commented, or subscribed yet? I mean, it truly helps the channel. Oh, and don't forget our socials. Links below. 12. Does the Copper Scroll treasure exist? Found in 1952 at Qumran alongside the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Copper Scroll immediately set itself apart. Unlike its fellow scrolls crafted from papyrus, the Copper Scroll's message was etched directly onto the metal copper. Go figure. However, the inscription itself held the real intrigue, a meticulously detailed list of a hidden treasure, a massive cache of gold and silver that, if real, could be worth millions of dollars today. Dating back roughly 2,000 years, the scroll coincides with the time the Jewish rebellions against Roman rule took place, so most scholars believe the treasure may in fact have been meticulously hidden to avoid Roman seizure. If so, I guess we'd all like to know if the treasure was real and where it was hidden. There's no evidence of anyone ever finding it, so it could definitely still be out there. 11. The Placebo Effect. The placebo effect is a fascinating phenomenon. People taking an inactive substance, a sugar pill for example, might experience relief from whatever ails them simply because they believe the medicine is real. There's also a thing known as the nocebo effect, which is basically the opposite side of the coin. Here, people taking a fake medication experience negative side effects that they believe are associated with the real drug. Now, while the results of both the placebo and nocebo mind-body effects are clear, the biological pathways involved remain largely unknown. It's a mystery exactly how the brain communicates with the body to come up with these kind of effects. 10. The Great Unconformity. Have you ever heard of the Great Unconformity? It's an area in the Grand Canyon where billions of years worth of rock layers are simply missing. This missing time period coincides with the Cambrian explosion when life on Earth rapidly diversified. So, understanding what happened during this era is incredibly important. Rock formations naturally have gaps, called unconformities, but the Great Unconformity is on a colossal scale. It's like the difference between a book missing a few pages and one with entire chapters ripped out. Similar gaps have been identified worldwide. In some locations, the missing rock represents a staggering 40% of Earth's history. So, where did it all go? And here lies the mystery. According to one theory, glaciers scoured the missing rock away during the snowball Earth period. Another, more dramatic theory claims that Rodinia, a supercontinent even older than Pangaea, might be the culprit. If, as some theorize, massive pieces of eroded rock filled the oceans, this could have altered the water's chemistry, enriching it with minerals and nutrients, and that, in turn, could have provided early life forms with the resources necessary to evolve, paving the way for the Cambrian explosion. I mean, that's pretty amazing, right? 9. When was Jesus born? Okay, we all know that Jesus wasn't born on December 25th. That date, in all probability, comes from its proximity to Saturnalia, a Roman winter festival. In fact, the earliest records of December 25th as Jesus' birthday appear in the 4th century, centuries after he lived and died. Early Christians themselves disagreed on the date, with some Orthodox Christians celebrating on January 6th or 7th. Adding to the mystery, even the year we traditionally use is probably inaccurate. Most scholars believe Jesus' birth was closer to 4 BCE. 8. The work of Pythagoras. The Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, is one of the cornerstones of every math nightmare, and the life and the work of Pythagoras himself are wrapped in mystery. Part of the problem is the secrecy surrounding his philosophical school. To this day, nobody's actually 100% sure which ideas originated with Pythagoras and which belonged to the other members. To add to the intrigue, there's also some evidence that suggests the Babylonians knew this theorem centuries before Pythagoras even came to be. So, while the theorem bears his name, was he truly the genius behind it? We may have been hating the wrong guy all along. 7. King Minos' Labyrinth. If you're into Greek mythology, you'll know about the Minotaur, a half-bull, half-man monster that was imprisoned in King Minos' labyrinth. But was this labyrinth real? Many archaeologists believe the labyrinth was a real structure, and the palace at Knossos on Crete is a popular guess. However, excavations haven't revealed any maze-like structures there. New research has thrown another contender into the ring, a stone quarry near Gorton, about 20 miles away. Only time that maybe a good shovel will tell. 6. Spontaneous regression of cancer with fasting. We've all heard of cases where a cancer tumor suddenly shrank or even disappeared altogether, all without any treatment. It's known as spontaneous regression, and while the exact reason for this is a mystery, fasting could be a possible trigger. Some studies have shown a connection between long periods without food and unexpected tumor reduction. Some scientists believe it might happen because fasting triggers a process called autophagy. This is basically the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells and making new, healthier ones. Fasting can also lower sugar, glucose, and insulin levels. Cancer cells rely heavily on these for growth, so fasting might starve them out. For now, the link between spontaneous regression and fasting still needs a lot more research, but it's definitely an intriguing avenue that might help a lot of cancer patients. 5. The Sri Lanka meteorite fossils. In December 2012, the skies over Sri Lanka lit up as the Polonnaruwa meteorite fell over the northeast region. What began as a routine analysis of the fragments quickly took a dramatic turn when researchers discovered the fragments contained extraterrestrial fossils and algae. Professor Chandra Wickramasinghe, leading the first study, saw these fossils as evidence for panspermia, the idea that life spreads throughout the universe via meteorites. However, critics questioned his objectivity. The alien fossils also looked a lot like common earthly freshwater organisms, which raised concerns that the meteorite might have been contaminated after landing. If all life came from the stars, the tests on the Polonnaruwa meteorite fragments in all likelihood prove it, but we'll probably never know. 4. Cymatic Patterns. Have you ever seen those videos where people use vibrations to create patterns with things like sand or water? If you haven't, just Google cymatics. It was pioneered in the 18th century by Ernst Chladni and studies how sound waves interact with different materials like sand, water, or even metal. The true magic of cymatics lies in its ability to reveal the hidden order within sound. Different frequencies produce different and distinct patterns, which, in my opinion, proves a much deeper connection between sound and physical form than we probably realize. And yet, despite ongoing research, the exact mechanisms behind cymatic pattern formation remain a mystery. 3. The Eleusinian Mysteries. Have you ever heard of the Eleusinian Mysteries? They were a religious cult in ancient Greece that had everyone begging to become initiates. Everyone wanted to be initiated into the club, from everyday citizens to emperors and philosophers. But why the secrecy? And what exactly went on behind those closed doors? Well, that's where the real mystery begins. Apart from secretive rituals, nobody really knows. The strict oaths of silence by initiates and a lack of historical records make it difficult to be 100% sure what happened at these ceremonies. But the focus was probably on Demeter, the goddess of agriculture, and Persephone, the goddess of death and the afterlife. And since the Greeks had no issue with psychoactive substances, these were probably also involved. But again, solid evidence is scarce. The ultimate purpose of the rituals is lost. Did they offer enlightenment or connection to the afterlife? Our questions will never be answered. 2. What really happened to the dinosaurs? The time of the dinosaurs ended 65 million years ago, and while their sudden disappearance remains a paleontological mystery, it's a mystery that continues to fascinate me and countless others. Over the years, 2 prime culprits came to the fore: The Chicxulub crater in Mexico proves that a colossal asteroid hit the Earth around that time. An impact of that magnitude would have launched dust and debris into the atmosphere, blocking sunlight from reaching the Earth for years. The ensuing global blackout would have crippled photosynthesis and led to massive die-offs of plant and animal life. In India, on the other hand, we have the Deccan traps, which proves that massive volcanoes erupted around more or less the same time as the extinction event. However, some believe they happened even before the asteroid. These eruptions would have released greenhouse gases and choked the skies with ash, leading to a dramatic temperature shift and, yeah, you guessed it, massive die-offs. While the asteroid impact theory currently holds more weight due to the Chicxulub crater, the possibility that one led to the other remains a compelling alternative. 1. The creation of the universe. This might be one of the biggest mysteries of them all. How did our mind-bogglingly massive universe come to be? Scientists believe in the Big Bang, a colossal explosion that kickstarted everything. But while the Big Bang is a powerful theory, it doesn't answer every question. What created dark matter? Why is there more matter than antimatter? And most importantly, what triggered the Big Bang in the first place? Religion offers creation myths filled with deities that, depending on your upbringing and culture, also leave a lot open for speculation. When you take a step back and objectively look at science and religion's different stances, it becomes clear that we have two approaches to the same grand puzzle. Religion asking why the universe exists, and science asking how it functions. And who knows? Maybe the answer lies beyond our current understanding. The universe might in fact be a story waiting to be unraveled, a story far stranger and more beautiful than anything we can ever imagine. So, if you could solve any mystery, which one would you pick? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed today's video, you'll love the chills I'm about to send down your spine in the video we did a while back, 25 urban legends you didn't know. Yeah, you're gonna wanna watch that, trust me. And to go to that video now, just simply click the link right here.